الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله.
Hey, peace, everyone. What's happening? Shalom Shabbat, everyone. Juma Mubarak. Happy Sabbath to my 7-day Adventists. To my black folks, peace and black power. To my black folks. What up, though? What's happening? First order of business. Let me get a mic check. Let me know if you can hear me before we load up this clip, because it's gonna get kind of interesting today. Let me know. Reginald, what up? Michael Renee, what's happening? All right, let me go ahead and remove this logo for a minute, though. Let me take that off. Boop. There we go. Reggie, what up, man? What's happening? What's up, man? A few family that made it early, click that like button for me. And let's get ready to get this party started, man. This is a phenomenal conversation that needs to be had. Because we may really be in error. And so let's just get started, right? First, salute to Sheikh Sufi. I had the pleasure of meeting this brother when I resided in Philadelphia, who was taught from the lineage of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba out of Senegal, West Africa. This person, Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, really needs to be studied. We do not know about this guy. It's actually a crime. This is really Gandhi's inspiration right here on nonviolent protests. But Sheikh Sufi said there was a saying in Wolof in West Africa called Nar Yaknadini. And they say the phrase mean the people have forgotten the faith or the people have abandoned the way. And this is no diss, but the West Africans, according to Sheikh Sufi, says that the Arabs have messed up the religion in a sense, right? So it's a saying, all right? In the Quran, let's start there. Let's start with the revelation of the Quran. There's a surah called Asr, which means time. And it says, by time, indeed, mankind is in loss. This is the Quran. It says this. By time, mankind is lost. By time. And we got to think about this, man. If we got to really take our time tonight. And I know a lot of y'all used to my 12:30. But I had to shake and move. I had things to do. But we're going to take our time tonight. So by time, surely man is in loss. Now, I believe the Quran to be absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, for me, and I believe millions of people, but for me, absolutely is of divine origin. Divine meaning way beyond the earth, way beyond the galaxy. A bird's eye view. Let's go ahead and have a real basic, like a sky daddy in a sense, that can see the entire creation and have a knowledge of the vastness of the universe, galaxies, solar systems, the composition of Earth, planets, human affairs. Okay. Absolutely, hands down, it comes from bare minimum, we would have to say the ET extraterrestrial origin. I'll get into that because I'm gonna do a series on what's known as the miracles of the Quran, and I even found some myself. I didn't even say found, some were revealed to me in that sense. So all praise is due to the Most High. Because as I show you what Astray mean, I never read that anywhere. All right. So, but by time, surely man is in loss. So this divine revelation comes and says, listen, y'all lost by time. This isn't a crime. You are lost by time. Well, if the Quran was given to, if we want to say Muslims, then we have to ask the question: are the Muslims lost by time? Because it's our book. If that's what we say, right? Just a question. Okay. All right. This is the prophet's, peace be upon him, his last speech. And I want to go to the blue. O men, the unbelievers indulge in tampering with the calendar in order to make permissible that which Allah forbade and to prohibit that what Allah has made permissible. With Allah, the months are 12 in number. 4 of them are holy. They are successive, and one occurs singly between the months of Jumada and Shaban. Beware of Satan for the safety of your religion. He has lost all hope that he will be able to lead you astray in big things. So beware of following him in small things. Let's go down to the very bottom in that green box. All those who listen to me shall pass on my words to others, and those to others again. And may the last ones understand my words better than those who listen to me directly. Now, hold on. We got to uncover some stuff up in here. Hold up. So I got some questions. So the Quran starts off, the divine revelation says, hey, man, you are lost by time. The prophet on his last sermon says, listen, believers, watch out, because there are some other group of people, unbelievers, who are tampering with the calendar. And then immediately he comes behind that and say, hey, beware of Satan. He ain't gonna mess with you on the big things, but the little things, he got you. And then at the very end, well, let's make a connection. Are you saying Satan is connected to the calendar tampering? Because that was your very next sentence. Then in the very last sentence, he says, listen, I'm going to paraphrase. Listen, I'm going to tell some people about what's going on, the teachings, Islam, everything. That's called hadith. These people are now saying, oh, the prophet, peace be upon him, said this. Oh, the prophet, peace be upon him, said this. Oh, the prophet, peace be upon him, he did this. They're going to tell, that's the first generation, the hadith writers. They're going to tell another group of people. So now we're going to call that the second generation. And then that group of people is going to tell another group of people, the third generation. And the third generation shall understand it better than the first generation, which are the hadith writers. Isn't that something? So let's just say he's a prophet, because that's what it said. He's a prophet, meaning he has vision into the future. So what if he has a prophetic vision that says, hey, it's going to be people later, 3 generations removed from the direct teachings, that's going to understand my teaching more than those who are right next to me? That is mind blowing. That is mind blowing. All right. So let's regress a little bit. The Quran says you lost by time, and the prophet last sermon said, you're messing with the calendar. Now the question is, did the calendar get messed with? Obviously, it must have, because that's tonight's conversation. So now the Quran comes back and verifies what the prophet said and said, indeed, the number of months with Allah is 12 months in the register of Allah from the day he created the heavens and earth. Of these 4 sacred. Now check this out. This is the correct religion. So do not wrong yourselves during them. Whoa. So now you saying 12 months is your months. You ain't rolling with 13 months. You're rolling with 12. And out of the 12 months, somehow 4 are sacred. So 4 must do something that the other 8 do not do. We're going to get into that. And then you say, this is the correct religion. Religion, I don't even really like the word. If it's deen, it means law. Okay? This is the correct law. So do not wrong yourselves during the time. Oh, so question. If we are in error with the time, are we practicing the religion incorrectly? Because you said this is the correct religion. The 12 months, 4 are sacred. This is it. Don't wrong yourself in it. So if we are wronging ourselves in the time, therefore we are wronging ourselves in the religion. This makes perfect sense, right? Let's move on. Recite my sources. Some of this information is going to come from Know the Truth. Phenomenal presentation he did on the Hijri calendar in the lost month of Ramadan. He cites a source by Hussam al-Din, who has prepared information dealing with this era that we have in the current Islamic calendar. Okay, so you're going to see some slides from him. Salute to Mark Brushman, who also did a video called Counting the Months Back to Badr, or Badar, as we may call it, right? And as you see at the top of the screen, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns that is dealing with different calendars, different hypotheticals, not hypotheticals, but different ways that they would have calculated time. And he did calendar 4, row 4. But when you look at these different calendars, I put Ramadan in the green box. So in row 1, Ramadan falls in March, back in the year 622. Row 2, Ramadan falls in October. Row 3, Ramadan falls in December. Row 4, which I believe absolutely I agree with him, is the correct timekeeping system, which we get into. Ramadan falls in September. Okay, we're gonna get into this. All right. Now, many of the Hijra, which is the remember I did this before. Hajj, Hijri is Hagar, the black woman. Remember I did that video? The black woman, mother of Islam, Ishmael's mother, Hagar, Abraham's wife, the Egyptian woman, black woman. The whole Hajj and the whole calendar is named after her. So this goes back to a black African woman. Okay. All right. Now, so many of the Hijri lunar months have been given names that describe the season that they come in, which is another sign that these months used to come in certain seasons. So keep that in mind. The months are named after seasons. Okay. So for example, let me blow this up on my end. So for example, the Rabi Awal, the first spring, That's spring. That's the name of the month. The name of the month means first spring. Rabi al-Thani represents the second spring. But look in 2025 where they come. Is it springtime in August 24th, 2025? Is it springtime September 23rd in October of 2025? That's not the springtime. But yet these months are literally named spring. Okay? Now, the meaning of Jumad is the hardening of the grains, indicating it's ready for harvest, and other meanings of Jumad include, according to old Arabic dictionaries, a time of no water, a camel with no milk. They all indicate no rainfall and describe summer. Okay? Now, the lunar month of Ramadan. It says it comes from the meaning al-Ramdi, which means the first rain that falls on the hot ground. Okay, this year we practice Ramadan in the middle of the winter. Do y'all see this? We practice Ramadan in the middle of the winter, but the name is said to mean the first rain that falls on the hot ground. Some translations say hot month. Okay? Ain't nothing hot in February. Okay? Well, maybe in the southern hemisphere, way south. So now the question is asked, why is it that us Muslims do not use and cannot use the Hijri calendar for all of our practical needs, and is only used for knowing Ramadan when it starts or when Hajj or Eid starts? Meaning, can you say, meet me on Rajab, the 3rd of Rajab, and you know exactly where it is in your mind? No, you do not. Something is off. All right. So now the question is posed, is it fair and is it fitting with divine justice that some people in the northern hemisphere fast more than 18 hours while others in the southern hemisphere fast for 8 hours? We talk about Ramadan right here. Okay. So what is he saying? If I take you to certain places in Russia, as you see on the screen, this is almost midnight and the sun is up. In the extreme northern places in the summer, the sun never sets. But yet in Ramadan, yes, in Ramadan, when the sun is up, we don't eat. So imagine being 18 and even beyond 18 hours, 20 hours, 24 hours, you are not eating. Is that fair? Because that's very hard to do. Okay? So it's a question. So now it is said that ER cases increase during Ramadan. Gastrointestinal issues, overeating or eating heavy spicy meals after iftar, breaking fast, dehydration and electrolyte imbalance because of the long fasting hours, especially in hot climates without proper hydration, low blood sugar and fainting, right? Cardiovascular strain, headaches, migraines, traffic accidents. It is said that during the month of Ramadan, the ER gets more visits during this time. Now, this is in total contradiction to the Quran and what Ramadan is. Now, look, the Quran says Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed as a guide for humanity with clear proofs of guidance and a decisive authority. So whoever is present this month, let them fast. But whoever is ill or on a journey, then let them fast an equal number of days after Ramadan. Here it is right here. Allah intends ease for you, not hardship, so that you may complete the prescribed period and proclaim the greatness of Allah for guiding you, and perhaps you will be grateful. It's kind of hard to be grateful when you're sick and you're going through it and you fainting. The Quran says this is supposed to be, and it's talking about Ramadan, as you see, ease. But you got people, again, who would easily have 18, 20, 24 hours of sunlight in the summer if Ramadan comes at that time. That's no, that's not balance. That's not law. And I'm going to show you what the law is. All right. So there are 365 days in a year in 6 hours. That 6 hours creates a fraction because it's not an even 365 days. A year is calculated as the earth going around the sun. It takes 365 days and 6 hours. Well, if you have a 6-hour overage and you do this for 4 years, yes, 6 times 4 is 24 hours. So every 4 years, you're losing a day. If you want to say, hey, a year is 365 days, but we know it's technically 0.6 hours. And if we don't count those 0.6 hours in 4 years, there go a whole day. So now we start to mess our calendar up because technically we behind the day in 4 years. You see? So the way to correct this astronomical, mathematical universe that we live in, okay? This is nothing but math is the quantification of Allah's, God's creation, okay? So what happens is the amount of time that is not being accounted for, it has to be added back to the calendar. So when you see February the 29th in red, a leap year, every 4 years, we put that day that we lost into the calendar, and that rectifies our problem. I hope you understand that. I hope you with me. Okay? So every 4 years, we have an extra 24 hours that we did not count. So to fix that, we add 1 day in February, and that now puts the timekeeping system in the same spot. December is December. The sun is right here in December. Okay, it's the same thing. Your birthday is in the same spot. Okay, far as the constellation goes. Okay, that's very important. Now, when you deal with the month, Islam, Judaism as well, Chinese as well, they're counting the moon going around the earth. Now, we know the earth goes around the sun at 365 days, that orange circle around the sun, but now let's count the moon. What takes the moon 355 days to go a full, what we call a lunar year? So we're missing 11 days. We're missing 11 days when we do that. Okay? But you can add a leap month every 32 months to correct that. So you have to introduce what's known as these leap periods in order to keep the calendar in a stationary space. I'll show you why that is important in a second. Okay. Now, in the Quran, they start giving you some details about certain events. For the accustomed security of the Quraysh, their accustomed security in the caravan of the winter and summer. The caravan is coming in the winter and summer. Okay, it's kind of about to start giving you a little bit of details of certain things. All right, now here's a verse that says, "It is he who made the sun a shining light and the moon a derived light, and determined for it phases, that you may know the number of the years and account of time. Allah has not created this except in truth. He details the sign for people who know." The word phase is said not to being phased. I'm going to show you what the word actually means. The word phase, let me blow this up, actually is nazla, and it means putting up, stopping, stop, stay, or arrival. It's not phase, it means to stay or up against. Meaning, if you see the moon on the left-hand side, stop when the moon stopped, not when the moon phases, when the moon stopped. See, this is why it's important for us not to rely on people's translations, man. This is exactly why, right here. So here it looks like the moon on the far left stopped in front of, that would be the Pisces constellation. Mars dead in the middle stopped in front of the Capricorn constellation. Saturn in the middle to the right stopped in front of Sagittarius. To the far right, Jupiter stopped in front of Libra. It's not phases, it's up against the constellation. Okay? Now, and we have made the night and day two signs, and we erased the sign of the night and made the sign of the day visible, that you may seek bounty from your Lord and may know that the number of years in the account of time. Everything we have set out in detail. Now, this is very interesting to me because I did this before. What if they said the night and day are made as two signs? But what if it's not night one, day two? What if really that's one thing that they do, but it also means something else? It's very interesting to me in this verse that you are erasing the darkness. Two things. Darkness, as we saw in another lecture I did, represents ignorance. That's clear. The Quran keeps on giving you these darkness. You need the light, enlightenment. You know, it's a group of people that was energy vampires. Hey, let me borrow some of your light. Let me touch your light, right? So darkness is a state of mind. Okay. So that's one. But two, as this is talking about timekeeping system, right? It's talking about keeping time, number of years, right? But to keep the number of years, why are you erasing the sign of the night? See, the Quran has layers. We may look at that. Well, you erase the sign of the night because the sun came up. Okay, that's one level. But what if it's telling you when it comes to keeping time, get rid of the lunar aspect? Don't you understand that lunar, moon, and lunatic are the same thing? If you really understood the gravitational pull that the moon has on the psyche in the body, okay, like you may want to think about some things. So, what if this verse is really saying, get to solar time, the time of the light? Because you're already calculating a full day is, oh, the sun come up in the east. Oh, it's back up in the east. That's a day. Then you say, well, we're going to calculate a month by the moon phase. Okay, that's fine. But we calculate a year by the earth going around the sun. Has nothing to do with the moon going around the earth. It don't even make sense. Think about a year is calculated 365 days as the earth going around the sun. But yet we come and say, well, a year is calculated by the moon, but now we missing 11 days. Make it make sense to me. But now here's the Quran saying, and we erased the sign of the night and made the sign of the day visible. So we erase the night, make the day visible. And once we make the day visible, now you make seek bounty from your Lord that you may know the number of years and count for time. Because when it comes to time keeping in years, we don't deal with the moon. We deal with the sun. Come on, man. Come on, man. No, Yaknadini. We didn't fell off the path. So here's a battle called the Battle of Tabuk. Do not go forth in the heat. This is in the Quran. Do not go forth in the heat. Yes? Okay. Now, you will see that the Tabuk expedition, they said, happened in Rajab of the 9th year of the Islamic calendar. That's what it said. Right? Okay. In 2025, what do it say Rajab is expected to begin? January the 1st and end on January the 30th. How hot is it in Mecca? Because this is the winter. 84 degrees with lows of 62. But the Quran told us, do not go forth in the heat. But this year in 2025, it is January. Do you see the problem that we have? That is a problem. Like that's a problem in my, because I say I'm an astronomer, man. That is a problem. And I know that the Quran, as it said, was revealed in Ramadan, and the number of months is 12 and 4 is sacred. It has everything to do with how we are made and how to get in tune with Allah in God. Like no more different than it's cold outside, turn on the heat. It's hot outside, cut on the air. It's harvest season, go eat. It's a reason for this, okay? And it's based on our survival, all right? Now, they say certain events took place in the prophet's life. It took place in certain seasons. The Battle of Badr was at the end of summer, and we see in the Quran said, do not go forth in the heat. Now, they say the Treaty of Hudaybiyah in the fall, and between what's called the helical rising and cosmic setting of the star Sirius, we're gonna get in a little bit of that. And then Tabuk we saw was absolutely in the summer. Okay, so again, the Quran start detailing certain things, so we can call what we call reverse engineering, and go back and be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Okay, all right. So now, when we hear, and we're gonna go to column 4. Rajab, right? Okay, where did Rajab take place? In July. Didn't they say Tabuk took place in Rajab? And it was hot. Yes, we just saw that. Yes. But in 2025, what did we see? Rajab is taking place in January. See? Okay. Now, this is what we have to know. Please understand this right here. The equinox equals day and nighttime are equal. Now, the people living way up north, not on the equinox though, remember in the summer, they are experiencing 18 plus daylight hours. But on the equinox, guess what? The entire earth, I can't stress this enough, the entire earth, day and night are even. Okay, this is the first day of spring, first day of fall. Okay, now where is Ramadan at? Ramadan is in September. That is only a week away from the fall equinox. And if Ramadan is at the equinox, that means you people that's getting 18 plus hours in the summer, you don't have to experience that. In fact, everybody on the entire earth, I can't stress this enough, everybody on the entire earth is experiencing the same amount of daylight and nighttime. There is no winter, there is no summer during the two equinoxes. So when they fixed the calendar, Ramadan originally fell by the fall equinox, and it was no hardship. There's no need to be going to the high. We're so twisted in the faith right now. We're literally sick because we're going to the hospital. You're not supposed to do it then. You're supposed to be right here in this pocket, the equinox. Okay. All right. So now, who are we fasting for? Are we not supposed to fast in Ramadan when it's in the middle of the winter? Who are you fasting for? You fasting to keep up with the Joneses? Or are you really in tune with Allah has given us? That's the question. That's the question. I do both. I'll go with you for the sake of the culture. But what I'm not going to do is miss when I know the pocket is. That's not happening. Right? And I only went for the sake of the culture because I'm challenging myself. Because fat boy don't want to be fat. Okay. So who are we really fasting for? That's the question. Okay. Now let's get into Asr. Because remember, by time, man is lost. What is time? Time has a numerical value when you break the 3-letter root word down, Asr, A-S-R, of 360. Is it not 360 degrees in the circle? Earth going around the sun, moon going around the earth? That's 360. So now, this is what I'm saying about the Quran. Now, the Quran, which is coding, it's a code. Quran is a code. Okay. It's coding principles, words within, or numerics within words. Okay. So time really represents our 360-degree revolution. Okay. Which is this right here that you see on the screen. This is your concept of time. This is what you really, really, really need to get this down. This is your concept of time. Time is not on no paper calendar going sideways. This is time. So sit on this for me. This is time right here. Because this is what we're measuring. Okay? When we on Earth in reference to the sun. Now, let's deal with this. We're going, the Earth is going counterclockwise. Yes? Now get rid of the months, because the months are really sitting. The months are really constellations. Okay? You got to understand that. So the fall equinox, Ramadan, when we see the calendar correction, which we see the importance of the equinox, that is late. Ramadan was coming late Virgo to Libra. That's why it's in the brackets. The Earth is going counterclockwise, ladies and gentlemen, around the sun. Okay? So in this picture, when it is Ramadan, when we say Libra season, the Earth is technically in front of the constellation Aries, and the sun would appear to be straight in front of Libra. The sun is not moving. The Earth is moving around the sun. Thus, it looks like the sun is moving, just like every day it looks like the sun rise and set, but it is not. Yes? So the Earth is moving counterclockwise against the constellations. Forget the months, because it's really astronomy. Against the 12 months is the 12 constellations. Okay? Now, what do we have here? Well, 2025, Ramadan happened in the Aquarius Pisces time of the year. In 2030, it's going to happen in the Capricorn time of the year. In 2035, we're going to be in the Scorpio Sag part of the year. In 2045, we're going to be over there in Cancer Leo. In 2050, we're going to be in Gemini, right? But Ramadan was revealed in the equinox. You know what else is right there? Rosh Hashanah. And Rosh Hashanah never moves, because the Jewish calendar, lunar calendar, interjects the intercalendary month in order to keep Rosh Hashanah. Usually Rosh Hashanah is in Virgo, which is the only constellation that represents a woman. Interesting, right? Virgo, Libra, every single time. Every single time. Go look up Rosh Hashanah 2025, 2026, it's always going to be within the pocket of Virgo, Libra, every single time. Now, here's the thing. In Islam, we say, hey, the last 10 nights of Ramadan is the night of power. It's real, real powerful. But you see, I'm giving you the astronomical truth. So if you tell me in 2025, let's have a grown-up conversation. In 2025, if we hypothetically say February the 1st to February the 10th is the night of power. Okay. And then 2026, we're going to say, well, January 1st to January 10th is the night of power. I got a question, teacher. I got a question. Why ain't February the 1st to February the 10th the night of power now? I got another question. If January the 1st to January 10th is the night of power in 2026, why ain't it the night of power today, this year in 2025? See, this is where we get spooky. And this is what happened when we start following and not really, just blind faith. And faith is beautiful because it starts there. But once you get knowledge and you start to put it together, it becomes your responsibility. The Quran says you are lost by time. You're lost, people. You're lost. Make it make sense to me, because the night of power is everywhere, because Ramadan is everywhere. It takes 32, 33 years. Ramadan is going to go full circle. How is it possible that that's the night of power all of a sudden? Because you said the moon goes around the earth in the last 10 days from this arbitrary number. All of a sudden, these 10 days are powerful this year, but it's not next year. And it's against a total different constellation. Make it make sense to me. The prophet said, beware Satan, because he is testing you in the little things. And this is a big thing to me, but yet it's really little. Make it make sense to me. But when you hate on the Jews, because hell, you be hating. Oh, people be hating on the Jews. Oh, you be hating. Rosh Hashanah don't do that. Stay within the pocket. And it's a reason why they in that pocket. Okay? All right. So it don't make sense. And you know it don't make sense. All right? Now, here's a question. Was the Islamic calendar Sirius based? The Quran mentions Sirius. The first Hijri year began in 622 in July, which aligns with the rising of Sirius, meaning the sunrise and Sirius rise together. Pre-Islamic Arabs tracked Sirius for seasons. Really? Sirius used in African and Kemetic calendars. Oh yeah, Dogon, Egyptian. Y'all let y'all do the homework on that. And then the Hijri calendar later was reduced to pure lunar. Pre-Islamic Arabs was tracking Sirius, but something happened. Calendar changed. Do you know Sirius is the brightest star in all of the heavens? I'm showing you this. Rank number 1. It ain't even close. Number 2 ain't even close. I said in all of the observable universe of stars, there is no star brighter than this star. You know what the Quran says? And this is why I say it's extraterrestrial. You know what they said? And it is that he who is the Lord of Sirius. Wait a minute. This is Dogon, West Africa, Mali. This is Egypt. Yes? This is Arabs before Islam tracking Sirius, the brightest star in all of the heaven we just saw. Now, all of a sudden, the Quran want to come on the scene and be like, yo, I'm Allah and I'm the Lord of Sirius. So now, should Sirius be somewhere in our calendar? Basic question. And you know it should be. Because he didn't say he the Lord of Beetlejuice, Aldebaran, Formaldehyde, Altar, Antares, all these other stars. He said, I'm the Lord of this right here. Right here. Okay? Now, I'm pulled from a previous lecture I did, Sirius in the Throne. This guy says in his textbook from Cambridge University, which is an introduction to modern astrophysics, page 557 mentions the modern value is 49.59 years, but Wikipedia mentions 50 years, dealing with the orbital of Sirius B and Sirius A. Well, B going around A. 49.9 years. I pointed out, and this is what this looks like, right? Sirius B on the left, and Sirius A. Then you got the Dogon, who has a knowledge of this. The Africans have a knowledge of this. And then the astronomical diagram came many years later. And they are identical. Yes? What I got here. So it say 49.9 years. But it was verse 49, chapter 53, verse 49, that Allah said, and he is the Lord of Sirius. Look at that. And it takes 49.9 years for this revolution to take place. Now, there's a chapter called Al-Tariq, which means the night comer or the night visitor. And look what it reads. You want to know who the night comer is? In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful, by the sky in Al-Tariq. But what will let you know what Al-Tariq is? The piercing star. Al-Tariq is the piercing star. There is no soul without a protector over it. Let man consider what he was created from. Now, hold on. You telling us Al-Tariq is a piercing star, and then immediately you want us to ponder what we was created from, and you say, hey, you was created from a gushing liquid coming from between the backbone and the breastbone. I got to study that breastbone. What the heck is breastbone liquid? I got to figure that out. But anyway, he is certainly able to return him on the day when the secrets are disclosed. So hold on. You getting into our creation immediately after talking about what the night comer is, the night visitor is. Our creation. Night visitor, star, a star, creation, star DNA, star DNA. That's what this is what this is saying. Star DNA. Yes? Okay. Well, let's look at it. Surah 86, right? What a coincidence. Sirius is 8.6 light years away from the Earth. You think the Quran don't know? This is why I say it's extraterrestrial. Does not the Dogon drawing and the astronomical diagram from the Europeans match what the strain of DNA look like? Hello? Are y'all seeing this? Hello? Hold on. I'm gonna show you what the big head scientists say. I sent that to Jew last night, right? What the big head scientists say?
On Earth began almost as soon as it possibly could have, within 100 million years, which sounds like a long time, but that's short compared to how long life has been here. The ingredients of life match one for one in order the chemical ingredients of the universe itself. Number one is hydrogen, two is helium, but it's chemically inert. Next is oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. So now you get to humans, it's hydrogen, oxygen. Together they make the water molecule in our body. It's more than half of our weight. Next is carbon. We're carbon-based chemistry. Next is oxygen. Next is nitrogen. One for one. So life on Earth was opportunistic. And how do the same ingredients get everywhere? They get forged in the centers of stars that explode, scatter their enrichment across the galaxy into gas clouds that make the next generation of stars.
Listen
enriched
up.
with those very same ingredients. So when you're out looking up at the night sky, instead of thinking how small you are, think of how large you are for having ingredients brought to you by stars that have given their lives billions of years earlier. So that it's not poetically true, it's literally true that we are stardust. And it's not just that we are alive in this universe. The universe is also alive within us. And that discovery of 20th century astrophysics borders on the spiritual. Life on Earth.
What? So you're stardust. But I've been showed y'all the diagram. That was some of y'all diagram of that, right? We're stardust, right? This is science. But the Quran just, let me back this up. The Quran just said, hey, listen, Al-Tariq is the piercing star, and you better consider how you was created because you came from a gushing liquid between the backbone and the breastbone. Yes, that's what it says. And you know the Dogon history say, hey, there's actually was some intelligent beings that came from Sirius B that came known as the Nomos, and they were the teachers. And this is how, like, started seeding humanity, a higher dimensional type of being. Okay. I'm just letting you know what the Africans say. Okay. All right. So where we at here? All right. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, it's one of my favorites right here. So when you go to chapter 10 in the Quran, it says, Aleph, Lam, Ra. These are the verses of the wise book. Now, I got a question. How the heck can 3 letters represent verses of a wise book? A book is contained of words. Words are contained of letters. How do 3 letters compose wisdom of a book? And what's the difference between Aleph's wisdom, Lamb's wisdom, and Ra's wisdom? Tell me the attributes that fall up under these 3 letters. For this to even be here tells you we must think deeper on the subject matter at hand. Because you're telling us letters are encoding wisdom. A letter is encoding wisdom. Wisdom is information. So the letters is encoding information. This is what you call a metaphysical book. Okay? All right? All right. Now, what is the throne? Which is known as the Arsh. Okay? So the throne of Allah is mentioned multiple times in the Quran and Hadith as the greatest and highest realm of divine authority. It is not physical seat. It's not a physical seat, but represents Allah's supreme dominion over its existence. Now, check this out. This surah says, those who carry the throne. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I thought the throne wasn't physical. If the throne ain't physical, and if it's not here, and it's where is it? And what do you mean? Carry it. Those who carry it. What are you getting at here? Okay. All right. So then, back on February the 16th, not even 2 months ago, I was hit with a revelation. And the revelation said, it's a voice that comes to me, and it's not audible, it's more telepathic. And it said, go connect the throne to Sirius. So I'm going to show you some of this back work. So at the very top, not the very top, but the first Arabic letter, you see S-A-R reading from right to left. The 3 dots is an S. They call it Sin. In Hebrew, we call it Shin. Okay? So Sin, Ain, Ra, Sar. But that, and that's for Sirius. That means that. But at the bottom is Ain, Ra, Sin, which is Arsh. A-R-S. Arsh. Arsh, we said, means throne. But Sirius is Sar. So it's the exact same 3 letters. The throne and Sirius are the exact 3 letters. Okay? Now, TK here, and I'm just backtracking a bit because I got to show you how it all was revealed. I text him at 1:35 in the morning. I said, bro, you up? He said, he hit me back at 8:43. Like, man, bro, I was out, but happy birthday. I like, bro, man, alhamdulillah, nigga. Allah showed me where the throne is. Go look up the 3-letter root for throne. So I ain't gonna tell him because he know how to do it. And then this gets his Arabic vernacular up and whatnot. So when I break down the numerical value for Sirius, Sar at the top, and then Arsh, throne, since they're both have the same 3 letters, the numerical value has to be the same, which is 570. So I get back on the text because remember that verse that you heard that in the Quran when the show first came on, known as the Ayatul Kursi. Kursi is also said to mean throne too, but when you look into it, they say, well, it's really the footstool, but in the Quran it says throne, and the Arsh is the real throne. Okay, so now I'm telling TK, now Kursi they always say is the footstool, but the 2 times that it appears is throne. Arsh is said to be the highest of the 2. We just saw Arsh have a numerical value of 270, and 280 is the numerical value for Kursi. So that gives a difference of 290. And if you go look up the root word Rasul, which means the messenger, Rasul equals 290. Right? So he said, bro, you snapping out, right? And so I go on and tell him, I said, listen, bro, it was crazy. It was like happy birthday, right? So I had just came off doing a presentation on Sirius. And that's why, the inspiration came, or that voice came and said, now go connect the throne to Sirius. Okay. So this is what I'm telling them in blue. I just come off Sirius connection again. And from Friday, and that voice told me to compare Sirius to the throne. And lo and behold, it's the same effing letters. Man, I almost cried. So I had to go listen to Surah 48 since this was my birthday. Like, this happened on the eve of my birthday and I turned 48. So I had to go to Surah 48, which is titled The Victory. Okay. So I went to go play the lottery that morning. I know stuff a lot, right? I went to go play the lottery this morning. And I got to look at you when I tell you this. And you see the time. The time was at 14. So that's what, 2:37 p.m. I was hard-headed. I ain't got no reason to lie, because y'all saw my text to TK at 1 something in the morning, and he got back with me at 8 something in the morning. I got a vision that morning on my way here to stop right here at the marathon and play 570 in a set of numbers. Now, follow my logic. I'm gonna show you how the inspiration came. Now, think what I'm saying. And all my stuff is timestamped. And so this is where it really gets really divine. So pay attention. Okay. That was a Sunday. Friday, I do a lecture on Sirius. That Sunday, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, inspiration came, a voice came and said, go connect the throne to Sirius. I followed the instruction, and look, lo and behold, they're the same 3 letters, which gives them the same numerical value. I see this. When I see this, I almost start crying, because what told me to do that? You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, alhamdulillah, I bowed down. I bowed down, right? So I'm like, okay. Then a vision came and said, on your way here in the morning, stop at the marathon and play 570. Because since you said throne and Sirius, you connected it, it's 570. This is God talking. Call me whatever. I don't care. God said, go play 570 in the morning. It was snowing that morning, y'all. And what my BA do? Itch ass nigga. What I do? I don't feel like getting out the truck. It's cold. It's snowing. I'm gonna make it later before the midday play. I didn't make it later. I made it at 2 something, as the receipt says. So now let's bring it back so we can see. So I marked 570, but I played at 14:37, 2:37 p.m. Again, you saw my text message with TK 570 prior to the midday drawing. So what happened at midday on 2/16? 057, which is 570 box came out. Alhamdulillah. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I ain't gotta lie. I'm time stamped with this, man. That's exactly why I keep receipts. Alhamdulillah. I won, but then, it wasn't even about the winning of that. It was to show you that this is the truth. Ain't got nothing to do with no little funky $500 win or whatever that is. Blessings for that, for sure. Thank you. Shukran for that. Ain't got nothing to do with that. This is to show you that this is the truth. That's what this is about. Connecting you back to the source, the original Islam, in the way it was. And what these frequencies, this energy really represents. Sirius is the throne. That's the throne. And the question is, why is that the throne? What can we do with the throne? All right? Because, hey, God may bless you and give you some financial blessings behind this. Okay? All right? All right, let's move on. One of my favorite verses says, we will show them our signs in the horizons and within. I can't stress within enough. And within themselves, until it becomes clear to them that this is the truth. What? Man, pay attention to that. Hold on. Hey, man, we're going to show you the signs. Only thing on the horizon is celestial bodies. So we're going to show you the celestial bodies, but then you got to see something inside yourself. And then that got to become whatever you see inside of yourself in reference to a celestial body on horizon. You got to realize that these two things are the truth. What are you talking about? I know what you're talking about. You got to make a connection. That's God's creation. You got to make a connection to that. Got to understand that. All right. Now, this is one of my favorite ones too. And how many a sign there is in the heavens and the earth, which they pass by, and yet they turn away from them. In other words, you ignorant folks, we be having the signs right here. You look, I ain't put my favorite verse in here. In the heavens is your provision and everything promised to you, and you just turn away from it. You don't even know it. The Quran says, in the heaven is your provision and everything promised to you, and you don't even know it. So if you don't know it, then that means what? If you can listen, everything promised to me, man. I got children, I got money, I got everything. Like, come on, everything promised to me. So you saying it's in the heavens? Go outside and pinpoint it right now. Show me where money at. Show me where your love life at. Show me where your children at. Show me where your career at in the heavens. Show me that. If you can't show me that, then guess what? You're this people right here, the people who look at the sign, don't even know the sign, and turning your head away from it. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. This is a sin of gross ignorance. All right? Quran ain't playing with you. Step your game up, man. Again, indeed, the number of months with Allah is 12 and 4 is sacred. Let's start cooking. So in Islam, they say, hey, listen, these 4 months are sacred. Okay. Well, from my research, it says the first month means forbidden. Rajab means to respect. Dul Qa'dah means time of sitting. Now, here's the thing. I swear to God, this is what the research said. The research says, well, one, some months are named after seasons, and some months are named after the activity of what people are doing. And they say, do y'all know people were making Hajj before Islam came in the picture? That's documented. Pre-Islamic Arabs were making Hajj and doing these practices on these 4 months, sitting still, not fighting each other and stuff, out of reference of nature, and that's beautiful. So if you say, hey, we don't hunt and kill animals when it's mating season, because if we do that, we ain't gonna have none for the future generation. So that's beautiful, but it's not astronomical. I'll say that again. If we're going to create customs based off nature, that's beautiful, but it may not be astronomical per se. Okay. So my research said they were practicing these holy months of sitting still and chilling and things of that nature, not fighting each other, before Islam came into the picture. But the Quran is a new revelation that says, hey, 12 months belong to me and 4 of them are sacred. So now, are we to follow the people who were practicing something? Or are there, here's a question, is there something different that these 4 months do that the other 4 don't do out of the 12? That's the question. It is. It's called the summer solstice, which is really the last day of Gemini. And then the next day is the first day of Cancer, summer. Libra, the fall equinox, which we validated. Ramadan falls in the fall equinox when we correct the calendar. The winter solstice, last day of Sag, but the first day of winter. Winter solstice, spring equinox, right? Which is opposite Ramadan and the fall equinox. Yes. In other words, this is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Pay close attention. Because we saw in the Quran where it told us, it gave us the light. It erased the night and deal with the light for the purpose of keeping the science of time when it comes to a year. We saw that. Note on the far left, what does it say? Equator. That's not the Earth's equator. This is something called the celestial equator. If you were to drive straight off the Earth in a straight line, you will be right there at the celestial equator, not going up or not going down, just going straight. You're at the celestial equator. On March equinox, when days or nights are even, the sun is at the celestial equator, equal. That's March. 3 months later, we at the summer solstice. Is the sun at the equator now? No. It's plus 20, really 23, but it's plus 23 degrees northern declination. It looked like the sun went up 23 degrees from the equator. This is known as the longest day of the year. This is the time of year Ramadan definitely should not be in, because if you live way up north, the sun will never set. It will always be an aspect of sunlight. And you have to fast forever for 30 days plus without eating and drinking nothing. Come on, man. Make it make sense to me. This is astronomy. Okay. So this is the summer. And then 3 months later, we're back at the fall equinox where Ramadan falls. Yes. We're back at the celestial equator. Days and nights are even. And then 3 months later, the sun is below the celestial equator, minus 23 degrees. Just like in the summer it was plus 23, but now it's below the celestial equator, which makes this what? The shortest day of the year, also known as the longest night of the year for those of us in the northern hemisphere where the Quran was revealed. These are 4 sacred points. Now, my question is, that's my last slide. My question is a pre-Quranic Arabic or Arab custom, does that supersede the sacredness of these 4 celestial points in which it appears the sun is traveling, in which the Quran specified deal with the sun when it comes to keeping time? Which one holds more weight? We know which one holds more weight. Let's stop it. Okay? Let's stop it. All right? Give me a second, because I was going to show y'all something real quick. All right. Uh-oh. What's going on? All right. Where is that at? Here. All right. So, and my people in the chat, I know a lot of people come after the fact, but they already know what it is. Listen, I ain't playing no games in the Patreon. I'm gonna show you how to use this energy. The latest one was Nicole, because I tell her, see, the heavens and earth are related to you, ladies and gentlemen. So in her report, I told her it was money. We didn't map this out. The old priesthood didn't map this stuff out. The real, I'm gonna say it. The real believers of Allah and the Quran understand what's taking place. That's why the Quran always say, for those who got understanding, because it's a whole bunch of people who really don't understand. She got $6,000, and then another 50 and another 61. Right? You see it, right? And keep on going. Right? right? And man, look, Sharita got an unexpected $800 gift bag. Man, I can keep on going. K Flav had came through right on 1,000. I'm talking about, and I'm gonna say it's all right. Because see, when the revelation came to me was serious in see, when the revelation came with serious in the throne, and then the vision come and say, go play the lottery, and that number comes out, box, right? It's okay. You know why? I'm just gonna be flat out real with you. Flat out real with you. The Quran says every nation will receive a messenger speaking their own language. So you mean to tell me nobody's coming to me speaking Arabic, French, Portuguese? Who gonna talk to the nigga, Allah? Who gonna talk to the nigga nation? Because it's a nigga nation. Best believe it. Who? You said every nation will receive a messenger speaking their own language. Interesting. Interesting. Right? Okay. 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 See, it's a difference between a prophet and a messenger. You got to figure that out. All right. I ain't gonna delve into that today, but clearly, come on. Let's open it up. The Quran said the prophet, peace be upon him, is the seal of prophets. You can have that. Got that. That's what the Quran said. But then you said every nation will receive a messenger. You didn't say every nation will receive a prophet. You said every nation will receive a messenger speaking their own language. What you said. There's another verse in the Quran that says, some messengers you know, and some of them we didn't tell you about. And I'm like, whoa, oh, there's some messengers we don't know. Whoa. Yeah, that's what the Quran says. All right. That's what the Quran says, man. The Quran says, man. I'm just here as a cosmic messenger trying to connect y'all to the ultimate divine and how these laws of this beautiful thing works. That's it. That's it. That's it. We all stardust, as you heard Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I call the big head scientist. All right, which is a play in the Nation of Islam, but you know, the big head scientist. But yet he say astrology ain't real. I'm like, man, you special. You I ain't gonna use the word I want to say, but you special. How you gonna be stardust? Astrology. But then I saw him years ago on Sway say, well, if a couple gets pregnant tonight and it's a full moon and she go a full term 10 months later, the moon will be full. And I said, did he just use a sexual reproductive cycle with the moon and say the moon will dude, what are you? That's astrology. What are you talking about? You don't know what he's talking about. And what's really funny, I gotta do a video on him. What's really funny is not the incident itself, but it was alleged that a woman said you wanted to look up her skirt so you can find Pluto. Pluto has, in our science, Pluto rules Scorpio, which is sex. So I find it ironic how the big head scientist didn't want to see Mars or Venus or Neptune or Jupiter and Saturn. You went to Pluto. Interesting. Or maybe you knew it. But anyway, I'm gonna come off you. Anyway. So I just want to share this information with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to get to science of time. In fact, next month we actually are about to enter into what we going into? The night of light, if I'm not mistaken. The Earth is about to get ready to go through the Milky Way rift again. So it's going to be, yeah, it's the night of light. So at nighttime, the Milky Way galaxy is going to be lit up, and the Milky Way, our Milky Way galaxy, especially when it gets close to midnight and it's exactly on the southern sky. That's important to understand. The Milky Way galaxy, I did a video on this as well, emits a radio signal. A radio wave is information. So when we begin inspiration, in Arabic, inspiration and revelation are the same word. So every time you get inspiration, that's really divine revelation. I can't stress that enough. Inspiration is divine revelation. When we understand the place that we in, and I do a whole nother video on this, this is the fact. I hope you can conceptualize this. The solar system, the Earth going around the sun, Venus and all them, we all going around the sun. Our whole solar system is going around a galaxy, which takes about 250 million years to complete. Our whole galaxy is being pulled into another location. And then this location is being pulled to another location. Nobody's talking about that. The question is, where are we going? What are these precise locations? What are, as you saw in the Quran, it said, like, yo, man, you think about this. Like, seriously, and I'll be showing this. The sun is chapter 91, Al-Shams, but when the earth is closest to the sun, January 3rd, 4th on average, it's 91 million miles away from the sun. But it's chapter 91 in the Quran, called the sun. Surah 24 is called Al-Nur, which is the light, and it's 24 hours in a day that deals with light. We saw in Surah 53, in verse 49, I am the Lord of Sirius, verse 49, but we find out that Sirius has a companion star, Potolo, or Sirius B, that orbits it approximately 49.9 years. There's another breakdown what somebody did, that Surah 57 is iron, which is in the middle of the Quran. The Quran has 114 chapters, so 57 is half. Iron, and the 5700th word in that chapter is iron, and iron starts to melt like at 5700 degrees Kelvin, and iron is in the middle of the earth, just like the chapter iron is in the middle of the Quran. When we have done this before, when we go to a circle calculator and we put in 360, which we just saw, Asr, which means time, equals 360. When we take 360 in the circumference calculator, the diameter became exactly 114, which is the total number of books in the Quran. And if the diameter is 114, then the radius, which is half a diameter, is 57, which is what? The iron in the Quran, or the middle of the Quran, because radius is basically half the diameter, or the middle point. The Quran is an astronomical tool that deals with stellar ascension, because as you heard the big head scientists say, we are all composed of stardust. We really star beings. We're light beings. You got a heartbeat, brainwave. Heart without this heartbeat is over. It's lifeless. So we are light. We are light incarnated. Is what we are. But light comes from stars. Yes? Because our whole creation on earth, the Quran says, and we exploded you, talking about the Big Bang. We exploded this place, right? Then science says, oh yeah, it was an explosion that took place, Big Bang. Oh, snap. Human being, you're made of nitrogen, hydrogen. All the things stars are made of, you are made of. So we're walking stars. But if you're dealing with a star, you're dealing with something that has mass. If you're dealing with something that has mass, you're dealing with something that has gravitational pull. So now you got planets that were formed at the same time, and these planets are in front of stars when we're born, and now they're exerting gravity onto our physical body as we are a light being coming in, where we come from. Does not sperm look like a shooting star? Skeet, skeet, skeet. Forgive me. Forgive me. Right? But don't it look like a shooting star? The sperm cell itself, like the tadpole, tell me they don't look like a comet. It's a shooting star. The macrocosm, microcosm. Signs on the horizons and in yourself so that you may know that this is the truth. So this has a gravitational pull on us when we're born. So when something has gravity, then it has attracting powers. Something that is light generates a magnetic field, attracting powers. You know what the problem is? Negative attracts and positive attracts. So we attract negative and we attract bad relationships based off of these star configurations when we were born. This is how we able to see it. Allah has blessed me someone, and was able to and I've done this several times with women because I'm a scientist. We a menstrual cycle. Boop. I can go look at the moon and tell you the next month when it's coming. If you on that time, you may be on a different cycle, dealing with a different body. Can tell you in the future when it's coming, which means what? Now have a foreknowledge of your reproductive cycle. You don't even know when you come in the future. And I can tell you when you coming in the future. This is how this place is made. It's for us to get a cosmic understanding, because guess what? Now we can actually plan certain things. Everything the Quran says what? In your provision, and everything promised to you is in the heavens. In the heavens. Right? Every single thing. Right? True Life Lesson says, what about the moon? Surah 54. That's related to a code. The moon is related to fractal 216. So when we understand, I don't know if I got that back here. If we understand, what's 216 divided by 54? 4, right? The moon's diameter is 2,160 miles. The moon is basically 2,160 miles wide. The Kaaba is a cube that got 4 sides. So now if you add up the total degrees of a cube, right? 4 sides, the top and the bottom. So let's say 6 sides for the cube, but it's 4 sides standing up because we don't go around the top, nor do we go around the bottom, right? So we go around the 4 sides, right? The total amount of degrees in a cube is 2,160. So the cube, the Kaaba, degree-wise, is a structure that mirrors the mathematical measurement in miles, the diameter of the moon. Okay? And now, again, like I said, 2160 diameter of the moon, right? If we say, well, why is it in chapter 54? Well, divided by 54, you're going to get 4. And you really only got 4 phases of the moon. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. That's why it's in. So chapter 54 is really encoded within 216. 2160 is the amount of time of a zodiac age. So you have the age of Aquarius right now. 2,160 years. Then the next age is going to be Capricorn, 2,160 years. Next age, Sag, 2,160 years. So 216 is also not just the measurement of the diameter of the moon, not just the total degrees of a cube, but the amount of time of an astrological age. So now we have to know the divisors of certain numbers. You see what I'm saying? It's a family tree of numbers. So if we say again, you know what I mean? 216, the divisors of 216 could be, 54, 20, 30, like, and then you set up a family tree. So now when you see a certain number, it falls under a certain family tree. And then we say, oh, this is related. Oh, that's how we know it's that. And then this is how you start building your holy temples. Everything we supposed to be doing is based off geometry and astronomy. Everything. And that's how you do it. Okay. All right, man. So, man, I'm so glad tomorrow we fast, man. Join us in the Patreon, man. We'd love to have you. Love to have you. Love to have you. So we get into a few things, man. Salute to my my mods, man. You know what I mean? From crypto to day trading to real estate to free business coaching to fasting together, 6 days out of a month for 2-3 day periods. And today is the second day. Tomorrow concludes our 72-hour, 3-day reset. Shout out, man. Just shout out to everybody that make it great. Shout out to Michael. Shout out to Potty. Shout out to everybody, man. Jamie, like everybody, man. Everybody that come through that's always just dropping, participating. It's a big family. We'd love to have you and whatnot. So it gets spiritual and it gets financial, and it's really about to get financial. Just so we all can win in every sector of life, man. I believe that we should be rich in spirit, connection to the creator, financially, whatever you decide to be financially abundant, whatever that number is for you, just living our best lives all across the board, health and helping others and whatnot. And just, all across the board, man. So it's a very versatile place. It's a place where you can share your resources. Shout out to James. He did a presentation on build your own bank. What was that? I think yesterday. I highly encourage you all to, if you got something to share. Let's all grow together. I'm not tripping. I know that hey man, I come in and one day I'm gonna ride on out. So what I'm tripping for, right? This is what I want. Love each other unapologetically today. This is what I say for me, but I'm gonna say for each other. Love me unapologetically today. For tomorrow, I may not be here. That's my motto, man. And that's how I want to live life. That's how I'm going to live life. Love me today unapologetically. It ain't okay to love you. Yes, it is. You love me, you love me. Well, I have trouble saying I love you. Well, stop having trouble and say you love me. That's what you feel. I'm just in that place, man. All right. I'm about to take my man, the fellow Aquarian, which man, Aquarius. See, we're in the age of Aquarius. So you're going to get certain Aquarian avatars. I keep pointing this out. You're going to get Bob Marley. You got Huey P. Newton, founder of the Black Panther Party. You got Abraham Lincoln. I'm up. And I dare say the philosopher Kevin Gates. I got to say it. May not always agree with Kev, crazy ass, but you know what I mean? Kev be dropping game. And one thing you can't say is, I don't feel like we can say is, you're lying. You may not like what he say, but sorry, not sorry. All right. So live, love, and unapologetically be great. All right. All right, man. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all next time. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all click that like button, subscribe, hit the notification buttons, and come on in the Patreon if you ain't never been in there. All right. Peace out.
الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم